Hit the music.
Welcome to another episode of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I am your host, the infamous Ultimate One, and we are now on the YouTube channel, Season 5 of the Chokeslam Wrestling Report. I call it the Extra because usually every Sunday I do the audio podcast. And now what I'm going to do different this year is that this video actually, is also going to go through audio. And then on top of that, I'll definitely do a Sunday show also. So you're going to get two podcasts and one weekend. So I gave you the biggest story of them all during Saturday or Friday, whichever days I throw it out there during the weekend. And then still Sunday, we're still going to have a show. Unless there's not much to report, you probably won't get a video on Saturdays or Fridays, but you definitely will get an audio on Sundays. So the biggest story this week, and the way we started this year is just amazing. And of course, was Vince McMahon coming back to the WWE. But what made it even crazier was the story that Saudi Arabia was going to buy WWE this week. We're going to be talking about that. Also, we're going to be talking about the Mercedes Mone situation that AEW fans thought that she was going to show up this week at AEW Dynamite. And we're going to be talking about that and how some of these fans think they know it all, and they're all about spreading rumors, and they don't look at the fact and the biggest picture. So we're going to be talking all about that right here in the next maybe 20 minutes of podcast. So I'm going to try to make it short as possible because I don't like making long videos. So let's start off with this Vince McMahon returning back and the rumors that happened this past Tuesday about him selling, or actually Tuesday or Wednesday night, him selling the WWE company to Saudi Arabia. It was chaotic, and it's all started with rumors because Stephanie McMahon stepped down from being the CEO of the company, and people right away ran with this story that the reason she was stepping down was because Saudi Arabia does not allow women to work for them. The women are not lower than them in their country. I mean, it went spread wildfire on Twitter. Social media was going crazy throughout Tuesday night, going to Wednesday morning, because there was rumors stating that Vince McMahon had made an agreement with the Saudis and that they were going to buy it off Vince McMahon. And the Vince McMahon figured he'll sell it so he could still be in charge of the company, and he could be head of creative writing and yada yada yada. Well, before this story blew up and went crazy, during the weekend last weekend was that JP Morgan was going to be the one in charge of the sale. And they were going to think they were talking about maybe selling the company within 3 to 6 months, and that pretty much that they're going to look for suitors. Next thing you know, Monday passed, nothing really going on. They still talk about the JP Morgan, and then Tuesday, Stephanie McMahon stepped down, and reports came in during the week after this whole fiasco of the selling and all that. There was reports that Stephanie and Triple H was against the sale of the sale of WWE, that they weren't happy. Then there was also a report that two of the board members who was part of the investigation of the Vince McMahon hush money situation resigned. The board of directors unanimously voted McMahon to be head of the board of directors. Not only that, but Michelle Wilson and George Barrios, two individuals who were fired back in 2019, returned back to the company. And I started questioning, like, okay, what the hell is going on? Because I remember back in 2019, the ending of 2019, these two individuals were fired. The stock was up almost $100-something when these two individuals got fired, and it dropped to $40 to $30. That's when I got into investing into WWE, because I say, hey, it's $30. At that time it was $30. Why not buy some stocks of WWE? The pandemic hit, all kinds of things, and the stock didn't even go up to almost $90 this week when they announced that they were going to sell the company. So this whole thing didn't have a lot of legs. I mean, I remember talking to my boy Jay Santee from the Turnbuckle Tabloid, and he said, I'm not saying anything until we get all the details. And I kind of agree with him, because I say, well, you know what? He's right, because if I get here and do a podcast and start giving you people false information, then I'm going to look like a fool like the rest of the other podcaster guys. Like Wrestle Talk jumped on this and started, giving, some type of, giving you information that wasn't true. I mean, you had DAZN reporting this. You had some other guy reporting it. I mean, they was reported all over. To TMZ was the one on Wednesday morning who said that it was not true. But let's question the fact, why is Vince McMahon doing all this? Okay? And this is just my opinion. It's not facts. It's just my opinion. Number one, the reason he's trying to get the head, board of directors and head of creative is because this man said it. He created WWE, and he's going to kill WWE. I mean, there was a report that the talent was talking about, if they sell to the Saudis, there was going to be a walkout. Now, mind you, some of these people are, under contract. Then they were talking about the women's division, that the women's division, it was not going to exist because Saudis do not allow women to perform in Saudi Arabia, even though I believe Natty and the other girl, forgot, were the first ones to ever wrestle in Saudi Arabia and whatnot. But they had to get dressed. They couldn't show their bodies and none of that stuff and whatnot. And then to top it off, the biggest thing that I felt, McMahon does not want to pay that hush money, $17 million that he took from the company, and he has not paid it back. And he figures, hey, if Saudi Arabia, takes control of the company, then I don't have to pay the $17 million back to the company. And it's bad enough that this man has a bunch of lawsuits. He had a couple of more this week with stock investors because he changed the formats of, the wording of, of how he could get back to the board of directors, and it was just yada, 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 a lot of stuff. Now he's getting sued by a guy in Delaware who claims that he kind of bullied himself back to the board of directors to take control and whatnot. So he's getting sued for that. There's also was a report, which I'll be talking about it tomorrow on my podcast, my audio podcast, MLW. He's still getting sued by MLW. MLW wants to see the books. WWE pretty much filed a motion for that, claiming, if they do show this information, they're going to lose a lot of money, blah, blah, blah. So they're trying to hide stuff. It's a lot of shady shit going on with WWE. Then to top it off, they had everybody in the roster nervous. Okay? Everybody in the WWE roster is nervous because this is uncertainty. They don't know what to do. Now, Stephanie McMahon stepped down. What makes you think that Triple H is not next? Triple H is next. To top it off, all these wrestlers that returned back to WWE after they got fired 2 years ago by Vince McMahon, what makes you think that he will not let them go again? And they'll be out there again in the independent scene. You got the Braun Strowmans, you got the Bray Wyatts, you got the Bronson Reed, who just came back from New Japan, who was known as Jonah. Okay, you got Mia Yim, who came back. You got a bunch of wrestlers who came back, and now they may be facing again another firing. So I got a little message for you WWE fans who, the minute they called Papa H came back, y'all started celebrating and just started talking about the fall or AEW, because every time there's something has to do with WWE, the fall or AEW, and AEW fans do it too, okay? Because I'm not gonna stand here and say no, the AEW fans don't do it. They are another ones that I'll be like, some of you need to do your research before you start assuming that certain things are gonna happen, okay? But WWE fans were celebrating in July and how they were gonna take over, and let's be honest, I started watching WWE again when Triple H took over. I stopped watching it again. Why? Because nothing good has happened. Now, don't get me wrong, the matches are good. Right now, they're planning to have this Royal Rumble match, which we call the dark match or whatever it is. Stupidity. That makes no sense, okay? And they're going to kill Bray Wyatt's character again. I can see it happening, okay? All these people, they came back, okay? Most likely, they will get fired again. Now, Lana, Rusev's wife, or Miro's wife, was talking a lot of crap. I think she was thinking of probably convincing her man to go back to WWE. You want to convince him now? We know McMahon takes over creative. It's a wrap. We're going to see the same rinse and repeat matches over and over again. And now the question is, I think the network contract is, I think, comes down to 2024 or whatever. Again, the question is, if they do sell to the Saudis, who is going to take that WWE and put it in one of their networks? Remember, the Saudis, and a lot of wrestling fans call them the blood money. That's what WWE is dealing with, blood money, because they killed this Washington reporter back a couple of years ago and whatnot. And you think that any United States network is gonna go and put WWE in the network knowing that Saudi Arabia is responsible for this death of this reporter, and you think there's not going to be backlash? I mean, I read stuff on Facebook, or actually on Twitter, the Saudis cannot control the networking. And I said, no, you're right, they can't control it, but if the network don't feel like putting that because it's owned by Saudi Arabia, they're not going to do it. So what's going to happen? It's bad enough that WWE is getting, probably the most 2 million views a week. As far as either SmackDown and Raw, they don't get 2 million. Are they going to lose more fans? Because let's be realistic. McMahon takes over, you best believe there's going to be more people leaving and whatnot. WWE, they're going to be like, I don't want to watch wrestling no more. And this is why I'm not just a WWE, well, I'm not only a WWE fan, but I wasn't only a WWE fan. I watched everything. And right now, New Japan is the hottest thing right now going on, especially with those cards that are coming in, which I'll be talking about it tomorrow on my audio podcast. New Japan has a lot of things going on. And another thing that I'm going to make real quick, and I will be talking about this tomorrow, Jay White's not coming to WWE. So get out this shit out of your head, WWE fans, because first of all, you didn't care about Jay White, okay? And now it's like, oh, Jay White is going to be a free agent. Jay White is not coming to WWE. And I can put more money on that he's not coming to WWE. He'll be in AEW and whatnot. Because a certain individual returned AEW this past week, and Jay White is responsible for being part of the match of this person catching a concussion in June at Forbidden Door. Okay? So, that's not going to happen. I don't know what you WWE fans are going to do. Booker T, of course, talking crap. Ric Flair, another one talking crap. You know, these people still living under WWE, thinking they still got jobs in WWE. They got something else coming. And things don't look good at all for WWE the way this year started. There was a lot of hope, a lot of, optimism when Triple H took over. Triple H will be gone, I say by the end of July. And if he leaves before that, or he goes and leaves before that, I won't be surprised. I will not be surprised. But there's more to come, and stay tuned because there's going to be more. So let's talk about this Mercedes Mone situation, aka Sasha Banks. Now, she showed up at New Japan Pro Wrestling's Wrestle Kingdom and confronted Kairi Sane, the IWGP Women's World Champion, after her match and whatnot against Tam Nakano or Katano, whatever her name is. And she confronted Kairi Sane. Now, these two women will be facing February 18 at Battle of the Valley. Now, when I heard that Mercedes Mone made her debut, and I saw it last week when I saw Wrestle Kingdom, I was like, cool, you know what I'm saying? And then they mentioned that the Battle of the Valley, they were going to wrestle each other. Real quick, I bet you she'll show up the week of Battle of the Valley. A couple of days later, she'll show up at AEW, or she'll show up at Revolution like William Regal did last year. Surprise, because AEW is known to bring surprises in their pay-per-view shows. Okay, but now we had a bunch of podcasters around talking about that Mercedes Martinez, or not Mercedes Martinez, I'm sorry, Mercedes Mone was going to show up at AEW because Britt Baker mentioned something about the boss. Okay, but what you people don't get, and then when I'm talking about AEW fans, that the minute you hear someone say something that, you know, you think it's a crypto message, that, oh, she's coming. AEW doesn't have to sign every damn WWE wrestler that is not a free agent or whatever, okay? Because this is the problem with Tony Khan. This is why he had the CM Punk situation last year and whatnot, because he keeps signing all these WWE wrestlers and whatnot. Mercedes Mone will be showing up that week of Battle of the Valley. And to top it off, I had heard and seen on Twitter how people were like, oh, this guy's got more of a ovation than Mercedes Mone had when she was in Japan on Wrestle Kingdom. Newsflash: New Japan has restrictions of fans cheering in the event, especially if it's a government building. Okay, there's certain arenas that they could cheer, clap, whatever they want, but in this occasion, they couldn't do that because it's been like that since the COVID situation in Japan. See, and it's always these guys who want to talk about a person and then talk about a promotion that they don't watch. Okay? You could tell by the stupidity and how do you call that? The lack of knowledge of the crowd, and they just want to talk crap on Twitter and think they're smart. Let's be realistic. Okay, when I hear stuff like that or I read stuff like that, I don't even bother to get into it though, because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all, because that goes to show you have people who are miserable because their favorites left the promotion and this and that, and you know, and now since Mercedes Mone left, now everybody's trying to take shots at her. Let's be realistic. WWE dropped the ball with her, okay? Because out of the all the four women that were part of the revolution in WWE, Mercedes Mone was the one treated the worst. She had a title reign that never even lasted, not even a week, because they kept giving the belt to Charlotte Flair. As is happening right now. Charlotte Flair just beat Ronda Rousey, another garbage ass wrestler and whatnot, and got the belt back. Okay, so Bayley, I mean, lucky Bayley has been, you know, used properly at least. But Sasha Banks, they treated her like garbage. What do you think? She walked away twice, and the second one she left for good. Now you WWE fans now are pissed off because she left. Are you serious? Like that's crazy. That's crazy. I mean, I don't understand it. But you need to get over it. She's gone. Okay? She's gone, and she will be probably showing up at AEW. And if she doesn't, who cares? I mean, I don't care. Right now, AEW needs to fix that division. I'm going to be the first one to say it. AEW needs to fix this division. And also, before I leave, and you know, people are talking crap, there's a rumor going around that Tony Khan is either going to buy WWE or he's going to merge with WWE. The most stupid comments I have heard. First of all, that is not going to happen. Okay? That is not going to happen. Okay? WWE is worth $2.1 billion. Okay, and I don't think the con has that much money unless there was word that they might get some investors, some people. No, stop. This crap, the rumors and all this, gotta stop. Where these people getting this information from, I don't know where. Everybody wants to be a wrestling journalist in Twitter. Everybody. You don't have the resources. You don't know what's going on. Why would you even make some bullshit? This is why that rumor spread like wildfire on Tuesday night to Wednesday. Because Stephanie McMahon stepped down and somebody came and said, oh, she's stepping down because, you know, Saudi Arabia doesn't like women working and all this crap. And that took off. Okay? And you got a lot of these so-called wrestling journalists and whatnot acting like they know what's going on and all this nonsense. Stop. It's just nonsense. Okay? It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Stop it. You know, enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? You're making yourself look foolish every time you make up some stupid thing. Now the worst one I saw was that yesterday. Tony Khan and his father are gonna buy WWE. Come on. You think Vince McMahon's gonna sell to the Khans? Really? That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? It makes no sense. You know what I'm saying? He bought WCW, of course. McMahon bought WCW because WCW was dead in the water. Okay, Time Warner wanted to get rid of it. Time Warner never liked their wrestling. So they got rid of it. Right, for what, $2 million I think they got rid of? Out of a company they almost made, in 1996, 98 through 98, they almost made like almost millions of dollars. And they went under. This time it's not the same. WWE's worth $2 billion. Okay? Now, when they sell it to the Saudis, that'll be suicide. Because I'm sure that advertisers, sponsors will walk away from all this crap. They don't want to be no part of that. So I put my money that if they do sell it, it's going to be to Comcast or Disney. Okay? Those two have been in the run for a while. You know what I'm saying? It's been a run for a while. And who knows? If Disney buys WWE, guess where they're going to be at? In the ESPN. That's what you're going to be seeing at, ESPN. You know what I'm saying? WWE on ESPN. ESPN and WWE has had a good relationship, and they were one of the outlets who reported Stephanie McMahon stepping down. So, again, you never know what's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? AEW, people, be patient, okay? Be very patient, okay? Because this is ridiculous. It's getting out of hand. So, anyway, that is it for me today. I will definitely be back next week with more content. Again, let me know what you think of this McMahon trying to bully his way back into the WWE and try to sell this to the Saudis or not. Are they going to sell to the Saudis or are they going to sell it to Disney or Comcast? What do you think about this Mercedes Mone? Is she coming to AEW or she may not come to AEW? What are your thoughts and your comments on this? Please let me know what you think. Leave me your comments and messages. If you guys want to subscribe to the channel, you're welcome to. Again, you can see it right there. Subscribe to the channel. You can find us, the Chokeslam Wrestling Report, on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and whatnot. And also the audio podcast. This will be also on the audio podcast. So check it out. For those who don't go to YouTube, who don't have a YouTube channel, check it out when if you I don't know, washing clothes, whatever you want to hear something, you're a wrestling fan, you can check it out also on the audio podcast. So that will be dropped on the audio podcast also. So check that out. Guys, also, if you guys want to support the podcast, I also have a merchandise store. It's tcwr.veryinkpresent.com. That's tcwr.veryinkpresent.com. And you can check out the t-shirts, the hats, everything I got there. Support the podcast also in the website. You could also go to the YouTube channel on the website, and you could also go to the audio podcast on the website. So you could check out all the other contents I had on the YouTube channel, and you could check out all the old contents on my audio podcast. And the latest one on my audio podcast is the Wrestle Kingdom 17 review that I did. You can check that out, including New Year's Dash, and check it out. Just check it out and see if again. Thanks all the support, everybody who's been supporting me for years. There's supposed to be a new introduction outlook on my YouTube channel. That's still in the works. I got somebody who's going to be doing me a new introduction to the YouTube channel, so be patient on that, and we'll definitely bring it out once it's done and completed, and then we can check it out. Until then, guys, be safe. Once again, thanks for supporting the podcast, and I'll see you very soon.